Hey guys, welcome back to 9 to 5 Gamers, and today we are doing our Top 10 Tuesday, which means we're going to do the video you guys voted on. But as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the Patreon for some really cool perks, like joining our Discord and being able to play on VGA and voting rights on videos, sneak peeks, different things like that. Today's video, you guys voted to do a top 10 on games that I would keep if I could only keep 10 games. So of course, that's going to be hard for me to choose between all of these. I don't know if I have that set up in my mind. I was just looking through my shelf and I was like, I don't know if I could keep just 10. So I'm going to use Pub Meeple to help me rank these things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you guys can see my choices. And so I've been narrowing it down, and so I'm going to do a little bit of that on screen so you guys can see. So I've been narrowing it down, and I'm trying to see what I know would make top cut. So right now it's down from, I'm at a total of 375 minus 56. So this is interesting. So I have to figure out of these games which games would be top cut and games that I would keep. Beer and Bread's not going to make top cut. Beast is good, but it's not going to make top cut. Ankh. Seven Wonders won't make top cut. Boss Monster won't make top cut. Neither will Baron Park. Neither will Caesar's Empire. Neither will Cartographers. Catan might. Codenames won't. Dominion. Dominion's not going to make top cut. Neither is Draftosaurus. It's a great game, but it's not going to make top cut. Neither is Galaxy Trucker. Hadrian's Wall. Hero Realms is not going to make top cut. Jaipur won't make it. Jamaica won't make it. Le Havre might. Let's see. Legendary. Lost Cities won't make it. All of these three Marvel games have the chance. Remix won't. Masters of Eternity of Eternia is, that's a solid game, man. That actually might make it. Mysterium, nah. Near and Far, yes. Paladins, no. Radlands, no. Revive, because it's not my favorite two-player game. Revive might. Root might. Scout might. Nah, Scout won't make it. Scythe won't make it. Spirit Island is always good. Splendor Duel is really good, but I don't think it's going to make type cut. Neither is Outer Rim. Neither is Clone Wars. Deck Builder might. That's probably my favorite Star Wars game right now, but I have not played Rebellion, so I don't know. 10 Penny Parks might make it. The Crew, nah. Isle of Cats, nah. Lord of the Rings, maybe. Quest for El Dorado, maybe. Tiny Epic Dungeons, no. Turing Machine, no. Twilight Inscription, no. Woodcraft, no. Viticulture, maybe. What did I narrow it down to? 26? I can cut one more. I can cut one more. What is not going to make top cut? 10 Penny Parks, probably. It's a fun polyomino game, though. But I've got Isle of Cats. It would have to be between the two of those. So it's Isle of Cats. Or did I get rid of Isle of Cats already? Let's be honest with ourselves. I think Flamecraft's not going to make the cut. We'll run with these 25. So let's go ahead and start ranking them. 65 comparisons. Should be pretty simple. What would I rather keep? Ankh or Ark Nova? Ankh has some expansions to it. Ark Nova is a little bit too new. It doesn't have enough expansions. I really absolutely love Ark Nova. And Ankh is the only game of the trilogy that I've played right now. So I haven't played the other ones, so I can't even tell if I really enjoy them. But Ankh is fine. It's not the best game, but I have played it. I do like it. But I think I would keep Ark Nova more. Marvel United over Le Havre. Le Havre is great. It's one of my favorite games of all time, but this isn't a list about my top 10 favorite games. It's top 10 games I would keep if I could only keep 10, and Marvel United is one of those because of all the expansions and stuff. Quest for El Dorado is really good. So is First Rat. First Rat is actually surprisingly good. I'm shocked at how much I actually really like that game. I'm having a tough choice. But El Dorado is I think El Dorado has more. They both have variety, but I think El Dorado has more variety than First Rat does. Legendary, a Marvel deck building game, ton of expansions. Root, a ton of expansions, and I prefer Root over Marvel Legendary. Caverna or Near and Far. Honestly, Caverna is super good. Near and Far has a cool little narrative campaignish thing, but honestly, Sleeping God's going to come out, and I would probably want to keep that more. But as of now, maybe Near and Far, but honestly, Caverna is so good, man. And Caverna has some expansions as well. I wonder what those expansions are like, though. I've never really played them. Near and Far has like an expansion. I'd probably go Caverna. Dune, I would keep over Viticulture for sure, because Dune with the expansions makes that game really, really good. And Viticulture with the Tuscany is really good as well, but I would rather keep that. Gloomhaven or Marvel Champions. Gloomhaven is going to have a lot more content. Spirit Island's going to have a lot more content to want to keep. Artisans of Splendid Vale is another campaign, and I would keep it over Blood on the Clock Tower. Ark Nova or Tenpenny Parks. Ark Nova's good. Tenpenny Parks is good, but Ark Nova's better. Ankh or Tenpenny Parks. Didn't I do Ankh versus Ark Nova at the beginning? Tenpenny Parks or Ankh. I really like Tenpenny Parks. But Ankh has more variety. Marvel United over Comic Hunters, because Comic Hunters is great, but I think I'd get sick of it if I can only keep 10 games. I'm like starting my collection over from the beginning. Le Havre will always take over for that game, because Le Havre is super good. El Dorado, Quest for El Dorado, Masters of the Universe, the board game. Masters of the Universe, I just did a review for that on my channel, and I really enjoyed it. I would keep that over El Dorado. Root or Hadrian's Wall. Not because, and this isn't looking at which one's my favorite, this is looking at which one I think I would keep, and Root just has a lot of expansions and will be played a lot more than Hadrian's Wall would be. Legendary, a deck building game, would be played way more than that. Caverna or Star Wars. Star Wars doesn't have any types of things. I really like Star Wars though, but Caverna probably. Near and Far. Dune Imperium, Lords of the Rings. Man, Lord of the Rings is like a campaign game, and then there's a lot of variety with picking the different characters. It's got a lot more variety than Dune Imperium, so Lord of the Rings. Gloomhaven, but Catan is so good. Catan has a lot of expansions as well that I've never played. I've only played base Catan my entire life. Probably Gloomhaven. Marvel Champions or Catan? Marvel Champions. Artisans or Spirit Island? Probably Spirit Island has all of the expansions and stuff. Revive or Artisans? Revive is too new, so I would go Artisans. Blood on the Clock Tower or Revive? Blood on the Clock Tower has more variety than Revive does, so Blood on the Clock Tower. Marvel United over Ark Nova. Whoa. This is the one where it's like, which would you rather keep? They're both really good. They're very different games, though. Ark Nova just takes a long time. So does Le Havre, though. I got to keep an Uwe. If I'm going to keep one of the Uves, it's going to be Caverna or it's going to be Le Havre. And honestly, I think I would rather keep Le Havre than Caverna. Even though Caverna can play with like 7 people, but I don't think you would ever want to do that. And there's expansions for it. Le Havre, I feel like, was like this one and done game, but it has a decent amount of variety to it. I'd probably keep Caverna. I think Caverna is going to be the one that goes, so I'm going to keep Ark Nova. Oh, Ark Nova or Le Havre? Ark Nova. Why is it asking me that again? Le Havre over Ankh. Ankh over Comic Hunters. Comic Hunters or Tenpenny Parks. Why is there so many comparisons? It said there was only going to be like 25. Or did it say 65? I think it said 65. Tenpenny Parks or Comic Hunters. Comic Hunters. Root or Masters of the Universe. They both have a lot of expansions and stuff. A lot of variety. This has more, actually, than Root does. Probably Masters. Quest for El Dorado. There's going to be a lot of CMON games in this list, for sure. Because they're the ones that are going to end up lasting the longest. They have the most content. Maybe the list should have just been that. Games with the best expansions. Root or El Dorado. If I could only keep one, I would keep Root. If I could only keep one, I would keep... I think if I'm going to keep like a Marvel card game, it's going to be Champions, not Legendary. So it's going to be Quest. Then First Rat or Legendary. Legendary has more expansions, though. Hadrian's Wall or First Rat? Probably First Rat. I feel like I would get bored of that pretty quick. Caverna or Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings. Dune Imperium or Caverna? Dune Imperium with expansions. Viticulture or Caverna? Probably Viticulture, right? No, Caverna. Near and far. Viticulture. Spirit Island, Gloomhaven. Spirit Island or Gloomhaven? Spirit Island or Gloomhaven? Okay, so I think I'm gonna go Spirit Island, maybe? Gloomhaven? Gloomhaven over Spirit Island. Champions has a lot more to it than Spirit Island does, for sure. Catan or Spirit Island? Probably like Spirit Island better than Catan. But Catan's so easy to play, man. I would love to have a game like that. I don't want all my games to be like super heavy. I think I'll take Catan. Masters of the Universe or Marvel United? They're both really good, but I love Marvel United. Masters of the Universe over Arc Nova. Arc Nova doesn't have a ton of content. Root over Arc Nova, which I'm pretty sure I picked Arc Nova or Root earlier or something. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. El Dorado. Quest for El Dorado or Arc Nova. Maybe Arc. Le Havre. El Dorado. Ankh. Comic Hunters or Legendary? Legendary. Comic Hunters. Oh man, this is a good comparison. 10 Penny Parks or First Rat? Man, I'm out of it right now. First Rat is really, really good. 10 Penny Parks is really, really good. Which one's better though? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tucker by the toe. If y'all let him go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. 10 Penny Parks. All right. Lord of the Rings, Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven over Lord of the Rings. Marvel Champions over Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings over Catan. Dune over Catan. Catan over Caverna. Spirit Island over Caverna. Splendid Vale over Caverna. Blood on the Clock Tower over Caverna. Caverna over Revive. Near and Far over Revive. Viticulture over Revive. Star Wars over Revive. Gloomhaven or Marvel United? Probably Gloomhaven. Champions. United. Masters of the Universe. Lord of the Rings. Root. Dune. Catan. Spirit Island. Splendid Vale. Blood on the Clock Tower. Caverna. Arc Nova. Caverna. Arc Nova over Near and Far, though. Le Havre over Near and Far. Near and Far over El Dorado. Viticulture over Eldorado. Eldorado over Star Wars. Star Wars over Ankh? No, Ankh over Star Wars. Legendary over Star Wars. Star Wars over Comic Hunters. Comic Hunters over Revive. Revive over Tenpenny. All right. Looks like we got our list. So obviously the video has been cut and we are back up top. And so thank you guys for tuning in. And now it's time to unveil our top 10 list. Starting off with number 10. It's going to be Artisans of Splendid Vale. Incredible game. I've already covered it here on the channel. You guys can check out the review for that game. And also it's made it on a couple of top 10 lists that I've done. It's a really cool dungeon crawler game that's very easy to play, very approachable. Number 9 is Spirit Island, which of course Spirit Island with all of its expansions, there's just a ton of variety. And I think that's what made me pick them. If I'm going to pick a game, it's like I can only have 10 games left. I need something that has a ton of content to it, which is why some of my more favorite games didn't really make the cut. Like Le Havre is a game that doesn't have any expansions that I know of. There might be like 1 or 2 like older expansions, but it's one of my favorite games of all time, but it didn't make the cut. It actually made it at the 14th place. But Spirit Island just has a ton of extra content, lots of spirits to play as, and different scenarios. So Spirit Island makes the top cut. Number 8 is Catan, because Catan has a bunch of expansions that I've never really experienced. I think Catan would be a game that I would always want to keep in my collection. I will never get rid of Catan just because I'm actually going to buy a new copy because the Catan that I have is so worn out from being overplayed. Catan is just a fantastic game. There's a lot of people who hate on Catan. I don't understand why people hate the game. It's so good. Now, are there games better than Catan? Sure, but Catan is just classic, man. You got to have at least one of those games in your collection. So if I'm only going to keep 10, I'm keeping Catan. And I recently played it again, and I just still love that game. Number 7, Dune Imperium. Dune Imperium has made the top cut because Dune Imperium has 2 expansions, and that is honestly just my favorite like worker placement game for worker placement deck building. It's got a hodgepodge of different things, but I really like Dune Imperium. That's why it's number 7 on the list. Number 6 on the list is Root. Root has made the top cut. Of course, Root with all of its expansions, which I have Root up here. I have all of the expansions for it, Lords of Iron and all the other things, and that game just has a ton of extra content, and that's why it's number 6 on my list. Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth, a really, really fun dungeon crawlery. This isn't really a dungeon crawl, it's an adventure game, and it is fun, man. It is really fun. I have it and Artisans of Splendid Vale are very, very similar, except Artisans has that fold-out book for the thing. This one you have to set up tiles, but it's still a really good game. And if I want to play Lord of the Rings, and it's a nice campaign, it's got tons of expansions that you can get for it. Right now I think there's 3 expansions that exist for it, or maybe 2, I forget. Number 4, this is a surprise, Masters of the Universe, the board game, Clash for Eternia. So Masters of the Universe, that game just delivered from Kickstarters, but I played it one time and I already gave it high regards, high marks. As a matter of fact, the Dice Tower did the same thing, and they gave it really high reviews as well because it's a really fun skirmish game, and I just enjoy how many different scenarios and how many different characters there are in that game. So Masters of the Universe makes number 4. Marvel United with all of its expansions, of course, and if I can include the 3rd Kickstarter, I would, but I didn't order it. So Marvel United makes number 3 on the list, and Marvel United, if you've never played it, you can pick up a copy of the base game for like 20 bucks, and I will say that you can't really know that Marvel United is really good unless you get the expansions. Without expansions, you'll get bored of the game pretty quickly. What makes it good is that it's modular. So it's like I can fight this boss with these heroes, and it could be, I guess for some people, maybe a bit repetitive, but I still love playing it, and I would love to keep that game. Number 2, Marvel Champions, probably the game I've spent the most money on when it comes to buying expansions, character packs, all these different scenarios. I have spent a ton of money sleeving that game as well, so Marvel Champions is my number 2 game I would keep. And of course, number 1 is Gloomhaven. Honestly, I don't think Gloomhaven should be number 1. I think it should have made the list at some point. I think it's top 10. I don't know if it's number 1, but it's definitely a good game. the best dungeon crawler by far for most people, and it's been #1 for years. Recently dethroned by the other 2 games, Brass Birmingham, which I have not played, and Pandemic Legacy, which I have not played as well. So that's pretty much it, man. I think that's it for this top 10. So thank you guys for tuning in. One of my dogs wants to say hi to you, so let me let him say hello. Hey, come here. Come up. This is Bane. Bane, look at the camera. Who's that? Yeah. You're a good puppy. You're such a good baby. I love you, Bane. I love you, Bane. You like the neck scratches? Yeah? Okay. I don't want face licks. I'll give you a hug. Where's your baby? Where's your baby? Where's your baby? Where's your baby? Oh, there's a lot of hair coming. I need to shed you. All right, go. Anyways, thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check out the Patreon. See you guys later.